Oshkosh Today, your connection to events and organizations in the Oshkosh area.
As spring continues on in Oshkosh, so do the many fun activities going on in our city. We'll give you plenty to look forward to on this episode of Oshkosh Today. The Memorial Day procession gives Oshkosh a chance to remember and honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. The Oshkosh Public Library is gearing up for summer with many new programs for all ages. The Oshkosh Public Museum will be introducing an art exhibit as well as debuting the new permanent exhibit, The People of the Waters. Spring and summer is always a busy time at the Humane Society, and we'll get an update from them on what's been going on. We'll wrap up the episode with a segment of Focus on Health with our friends at Aurora, this segment focusing on the new sleep lab.
Oshkosh Today. Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM and Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Oshkosh Today, your source for all of the wonderful local events and organizations right here in our wonderful city of Oshkosh. I'm your host, Emily Springstroh. We have a great show lined up for you today. A lot of great things coming up here in our city, and we're going to go ahead and dive into our first segment of the show, and that is Memorial Day. We're going to be talking about the Memorial Day procession and Memorial Day events. I'd like to introduce Mike Hurt and Larry Meads here to tell us all about what we can expect that day. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. And
Yes.
we're both Larry and I represent Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 17, here in Winnebago County. Yeah, it's it's an amazing day that happens, and Larry will share at 7 o'clock. We're going to have the reading of the names at South Park. 8 o'clock we will have a riverfront ceremony, and that will be dedicated to those lost at sea. 9 o'clock the procession begins, and that'll begin at Algoma and Jackson, make its way down Algoma Boulevard, and then 10 to 10:30ish, depending how fast or slow the procession goes. We'll then have our Riverside Cemetery ceremony as well.
Definitely. So a full day of events for
Absolutely.
Memorial Day, all in remembrance of those people who have given their lives and made that sacrifice for our country. So you kind of gave us an overview of what to expect, so we'll kind of dig a little bit deeper and take a look at each of those events, and you can tell us a little more details on those. But before we get into that, thank you both so very much for your service.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
It's a great nation.
And, we were talking before we started taping about the meaning of Memorial Day. It's a little bit different than Veterans Day. Well, I guess you could say a lot of bit different. But I guess maybe before we even get into that, we could talk about what Memorial Day is and what that means for those of us who might kind of be a little confused about it.
Throw
Throw it over to me.
Yeah.
Memorial Day is the day that has been set aside since, May 30th of 1868, when General John Logan created it. And it was set aside to honor those men who had fallen in battle. And it's been a regular thing since then. And in the mid-60s, early 70s, was it, that by congressional order it became Memorial Day and a 3-day weekend.
Yes.
And unfortunately, all too many people focus on the 3-day weekend than on the Memorial Day event itself and what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah. And so really it's meant to remember those people.
Absolutely, and Larry brings up a real good point, is there's a distinct difference between Veterans Day and
Exactly.
Memorial Day. And Veterans Day is that time to honor and recognize those veterans that have honorably served this nation in the 5 branches. Memorial Day is to recognize those who have given their all, those who have lost their lives. So it's a very distinct thing. And I know part of my learning process as I got into the veterans community is Memorial Day, it's not a parade, it's a procession.
Exactly.
And so, like an example with the lineup and the composition, like on July 4th when you have a parade, you're going to have, politicians and bands and clowns and people walking down. If you have a cause, it'll be in there. but the procession is very distinct.
It's
and
a somber
very
event.
solemn, very somber. And in this one, we are actually going to be interring a World War I veteran, and it's the 100th anniversary of World War I. So you'll actually see at the end of the lineup a hearse and taking its way to the cemetery. So it's very, very somber.
Definitely. Well, thank you for the background on the meaning of Memorial Day, and another great point with the procession, that it is a procession, not a parade, so that's why there are no clowns and candy there. And, you know, just trying to remind people the whole reason for the holiday and not to forget that as they enjoy their 3-day weekend. So starting out the day, 7 a.m. bright and early. Larry, you're going to be out at South Park for the reading of the names. For those of us who have not attended or don't know what the reading of the names is, kind of give us some background on that.
Well, quite simply, it is the reading of the names that are on the memorials for World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And then there is no memorial yet for Iraq and Afghanistan, but those will be coming at some time, and once we can clear ourselves from those two countries. But I guess there are talks in progress for monuments for those men. There are very few, fortunately. The reading of the names is you know, just a gathering to honor, to remember, because I think you know, when it comes down to it, we would all like to be remembered for something good that we have done in our lives, and these men gave everything. They're all from Winnebago County, and for the longest time, I would go by there on Memorial Day. I would read the names aloud to myself and offer an honor salute and be on my way. After a while, I started realizing that I was the only one doing this. So I started to try and organize things, and between this, that, and the other, I realized that if it was going to be done, I was going to have to do it. So this will be the 5th year for people to come and gather. The people who come to the event are asked to come forward. They read a group of 10 names, and then somebody else will come up and read some more. Excellent. Until we get all of the names read on those monuments. It's
a great way to remember, pay your respects, and you know, really, you know, you're looking at the holiday as remembering everyone as a whole, but it's great to read those names, and these are real people that we're thinking of. And it reminds those of us who are here. I sometimes call us, as veterans, I call us survivors. Yes. We survived our military service. These people did not. Exactly. And it serves to remind people who attend that there are real people who came from Winnebago County, who served in foreign wars and died in foreign wars for us, including us veterans. Definitely. So after that is the riverfront ceremony. Right. Tell us what that is. Yeah, we'll have the riverfront ceremony. Ellen Schmidt coordinates that. She just does a wonderful job with it. And it'll be right back behind the city center, right in that area. And we are so fortunate, but Captain John Townsend, retired United States Navy, is going to be the speaker. And very accomplished. He was in the reserve, active Navy in Vietnam. He is a retired legislator. He actually represented the assembly in the Fond du Lac area, and he's currently on the Veterans Board for the state of Wisconsin, so a very accomplished individual. So he's going to give the speech there. They do a laying of the wreath. Then after that, the procession pulls together, and it lines up, and all goes well. 9 a.m. It'll start to head down the down Algoma Boulevard, and again, it's a very solemn event. And 10:15-ish, we'll be able to start the ceremony at Riverside Cemetery, and for that, and this is huge, but the brigade commander for the 32nd, many of us familiar with the Red Arrow. Colonel Mike George is going to be the speaker, and he is going to be giving a presentation, you know, about what Memorial Day means to him, and then we'll actually be doing that interment of that World War I veteran, and his name is Arthur C. Meese, and just an incredible guy, born in Hortonville, ended up going into the war, was a private first class. Was with, and it's, as a veteran, it's kind of hard for me to see, but with a telegraph battalion. You know, something you don't think about. But yes. Yeah, they had their own telegraphs. That's the way the communication Signal worked. Corps. Yeah, Signal Corps today. And, but when you think about World War I and the role that telegraph had, that was huge. And so this is a person that was under fire. And, you know, he survived the war. He actually was a businessman in the area. And then he died in 1981. And
And I want to give recognition to Dave Holtz as somebody that was spearheading this, and he unsuccessfully, we weren't able to find any kin, and so working with the Veterans Office here in Winnebago County, we are going to give him that final honor as a veteran, and he will be interred in our cemetery. So one thing I really encourage, seriously, parents, bring your kids to the cemetery. This is huge because it's the 100-year anniversary of World War I. You're having a World War I veteran interred. You're not going to see this, and then plus you're going to have the brigade commander for the Red Arrow speak, which
it's incredibly special.
Yeah, and incredibly special.
The other thing I do try to do is get kids from the schools to come and participate in the event. Maybe they're handling the flags. I have a youngster from the South Park Middle School who will be doing taps. He was there last year and did an excellent job.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, it's very important to get the kids involved and aware of what the day is and what it's for, and honoring those people. So we have just a couple of seconds. So before we close out, I did want to make the note that Mike and I will be covering the Memorial Day procession on Life TV here at Oshkosh Media. So make sure you tune in for replays of that. Check our schedule at oshkoshmedia.com or .org, excuse me, oshkoshmedia.org. And we will be dedicating this Memorial Day procession coverage to our good friend, Doc Sunlighter.
Absolutely. Yeah, Doc was just a wonderful guy. He, I consider him my mentor, and he was definitely a father figure in my life. And both of us had the pleasure of co-hosting this show with him, and to be able to dedicate the 2017 Memorial Day program, I can definitely say Doc is smiling above.
Oh, yes.
Doc was always a legend to me.
Oh, yes, for the whole city. So we're very honored and happy to dedicate our ceremony to Doc. And I'm looking at these pictures, and they are so great. So thank you for sending those, Mike.
Well,
those are wonderful.
And it was his daughter, Tracy Sunlighter. So, Tracy, thank you so much.
Yes. All right, well, we're going to close out that segment. So thank you, gentlemen, both for joining us today, and we will see you on Memorial Day.
Great. Thank you.
Coming up next, we are going to chat with our friends at the Oshkosh Public Library about some of the things that they have coming up. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Hi, remember me? I'm one of more than 3 million disabled veterans living in the United States. My brothers and sisters gladly gave our all for our country, but we need help to get our lives back to normal again. That's why we depend on the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans, to fight for benefits and rights that we earned. Don't forget America's disabled veterans, and remember the DAV.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Thanks again for joining us. Now we have the Oshkosh Public Library here to tell us all about the many, many things that they have coming up in this spring and summer. So I'd like to introduce Adeline Miller and Michael MacArthur, some of our Oshkosh Today regulars, it seems, to kind of tell us what you guys have going on. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes. Now, you guys are very, very busy. I know we were talking before we started taping. You're like, I can't believe how fast time is going. It's already almost summer. So that's what you're here to talk about today, the summer reading program. So I guess first, you know, when you think of summer reading program at the library, first thing you want to think of is, can I do it? So who is it open to?
It's open to everyone of all ages. We have something from babies through adults. So everyone can participate in the summer reading program in some way.
Yes, that's excellent. And especially kids, it's very important that they are reading over the summer. So maybe you can kind of give us some background on why it's so important.
Well, a lot of times in the summer when kids aren't practicing reading on a daily basis like they do during the school year, they get what's called summer slide, which means they actually lose some of their reading skills that they've acquired during the school year, and they start the next school year in the fall with less skills than they finished in the year before. And so just reading and practicing reading throughout the summer just helps them keep those skills and maintain that through the summer. So
definitely. And you know, sometimes it can be hard to keep them engaged and keep them wanting to be reading, which is why the summer reading program is so great, because you have a really fun theme and some prizes and things like that. So why don't you tell us what the theme is and kind of how you'll be kicking it off this year?
All right, so the theme this year is Build a Better World, which is pretty broad. It encompasses a lot of different concepts like architecture or Legos or engineering or community service. So there's lots of different ideas that kind of come off of that. And we're doing a kickoff for the program on June 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. It's for kids and teens to participate. And what they do is they come into the library, they sign up for the summer reading program, and then they do their first 20 minutes of reading right there on site at the library. And then we give them a pass to the Pollock Community Pool.
Ooh, nice.
So the city has provided that, and that's wonderful. I'm glad that they can do that for us.
Definitely. A little bit of motivation to get out there for sure. And you know, I like the water park idea, because then the kids can bring their book along, and you know, while they're taking breaks from swimming, they can read. So there's always the prize aspect of the summer reading program for the kids and teens. So tell us a little bit about that. It's a little different than it has been.
Yep. So we're revamping it a little bit this year, kind of trying to freshen it up, bring a little bit of fresh ideas for it. So I actually brought in an example of what the kids can do this year.
Ooh.
So when they check in after their first set of prizes, which they can do every week now, they're going to get one of the silver chains, and every week that they check in, they're going to get a bead. And then on week 3, they're going to get one of these brag tags. There's 3 different ones that they can choose from. On week 6, they're going to get a free book, and then week 9 again, they're going to get another brag tag.
Nice.
So, and then they can get up to 12 beads too.
Excellent.
So this is kind of a built-in incentive. So not only keep reading, but keep building your necklace or keychain. If some kids prefer keychains instead, we have those available too.
Oh, great. And it's kind of a little bit of competitiveness too. You know, you're like, I gotta get that next bead and collect it and everything.
Get my brag tag.
Yeah, definitely. And then the free book is awesome too.
Yeah, well, we're the library. We like to give away books.
Definitely. And so in addition to the prizes, you have a lot of other activities and events throughout the summer. Tell us about some of those.
So there's tons of events. So I mean, events for all ages. So we've got our story times start up again. We've got story times for kids 3 and under. We've got story times for kids 3 through 7. We've got solar oven s'mores. We've got family performers coming in June. Miller and Mike, Magical Poodles, and yes, and Randy Peterson are all coming again this year. And the great thing about that is we used to have it in our meeting room in the library, which was small, but now we're going to have those events at the Masonic Temple across the street from us. And so we will basically have limitless space.
Perfect.
So everybody
No
can
cramping.
participate, no cramping, no people have to be turned away from that. So
wonderful.
Yay, we're
And
very excited.
we can find the whole list of all these on the library's website. Of course, we could talk about them for an hour because there are so many wonderful things to look forward to, and parents definitely got to mark their calendars for all these things and kind of keep their kids engaged, and it's wonderful. So moving on then, I guess, Michael, it's your turn to talk to us about some of the reading program things for adults. Now, as I'm hearing about all this, there's a lot of adults out there that love to read, but would like to be kind of more involved in something too, in addition to that. So kind of tell us about what the summer reading program for adults is.
For adults this year, we're doing this the second year we're doing basically a reading bingo. It was the idea coming out of like a reading challenge to kind of push you to read some different things, try some different authors or some different subjects that you'd never read before. So it's a bingo sheet, and you get 5 in a row, you get a bingo. We're giving away prizes, for your first couple of bingos, generally books and DVDs, but we're also getting gift cards for community businesses and Main Street businesses, and we'll have some big, if you like completely finish off the card, which would be about 2 books a week, even for an adult, that's a lot. We'll have some great grand prizes, for the end of the summer. But it's really just something for adults. It is about fun, but we also like to give you a little bit of a challenge too.
Exactly. Yeah. And half the time, for me at least, I'm just looking for an excuse to be able to read. And so it's like there's that extra motivation to, okay, I'm going to set some time aside, relax, and do some reading and actually get it done. So very cool. You're going to have a new event for everybody under the dome in July. And I guess briefly kind of tell us about that too.
So that would be Box City. It's going to be starting July 17th, or week of July 17th. It'll be running that full week under the dome. It's for kids of all ages, and they're basically building a city out of cardboard boxes of various sizes. So you get to plan your city, build the library, build the city hall, build houses, and basically be able to walk through this three-dimensional city. So it's a really kind of cool collaborative community art project, really. And it's going to be very neat to have it in the old building under the dome. Yeah.
Definitely, yes. It's always a cool thing to be able to come under the dome and see the history of the library and the beautiful architecture in there. So, well, wow, a lot of things coming up. Like I said, you can definitely find all this stuff on the library's website. Like some other great partnerships with Go Transit, some more information on that is there. Volunteer opportunities, and just more information in general about the summer activities. So,
and I'd be reticent if I didn't forget to remember the teens also get in on this too. The teens have their reading. They're also doing bingo cards and have opportunities to win gift cards and things like that as well. So they'll be doing that the entire summer.
You guys weren't kidding when you said you're busy.
No, this time of year. I'm sure we're forgetting stuff, which is why it's important to go to the website.
I know. I keep drilling the website. There's a lot of great information on there, and the Facebook page too. So, Adeline and Michael, thank you both so much for joining us today, and best of luck as you kick off the summer here.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much.
We're going to take a quick break on Oshkosh Today. When we come back, we're going to hear all about the latest and greatest things that are going on over at the Oshkosh Public Museum. We'll be right back.
It's not a charity, it's more than a charity. It's about helping people we live with. It's about being the type of person that the 6-year-old version of ourselves wanted us to be. It's about community and looking out for one another. It's about money, yes, but it's so much more than money. It's about friendship and common values. It's about opening doors when others are slammed shut. It's about giving kids a place to be kids and growing up knowing they live in a community that cares about them. It's about making sure that everyone gets to see the dentist, because we want to make sure that they have every last tooth in those smiles. Ultimately, that's it. It's about the smiles, old smiles and new smiles. It's about us, all of us, our community living united, because great things happen when we live united. Will you join us?
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and thank you for joining us. Now we have our good friend Carla Sakaris from the Oshkosh Public Museum, who is going to tell us all about the most recent things that have been happening over there. And let me tell you, they've been pretty busy over there too. So Carla, welcome to Oshkosh Today. As always, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, a lot of things happening at the museum. I know over the last year we've been talking about the People of the Waters. In addition to that, you've had a lot of other great exhibits come through too.
Yes.
So before we get into the update on People of the Waters, let's talk about the upcoming exhibit that you've got called Voices. So tell us a little bit of background on it.
Yeah, the Voices of Native American Art Telling Our Story. That will open July 23rd and run through October 8th. And it's a collection of multiple medium for artwork from Native American artists. Many still live here in Wisconsin, and all have some kind of connection to a native tribe of the Winnebago area.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of an art exhibit.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that we might see? There's a lot of different mediums in the art that you're talking about
Very
here.
much. We have some paintings, so watercolors. We'll have photography. There's pottery, just incredible pottery, beadwork. They will make baskets all out of beads. That's just amazing. And just a
So many
huge
things.
array of things. And the most important thing to, I think, take away from this is with Native American artists, all of their pieces tell a story of their ancestry. So that's where telling our story comes in, is through their art, they are trying to tell the story of their culture and heritage of their tribe.
Definitely. And we just saw a few previews of what we can see, and they're absolutely, every single one, I'm like, that's beautiful. I can't imagine how wonderful it looks in person. And, something that you noted that is just, I think, really amazing about this exhibit is how local it is. These are all, Native Americans that are from this area, and a lot of them still around and able to talk about the artwork. So.
Exactly. And it is definitely passing down through the generations. So that's really neat that the newer generations are still really adhering to their native ways and helping keep those traditions alive.
Definitely. So very much looking forward to Voices. Got to check that out. For more information, of course, go to the museum's website on some of the background.
OshkoshMuseum.org, yep.
Definitely. So let's get into the big event. That is the opening of the permanent exhibit, The People of the Waters. And Carla, I can imagine how excited you are to kind of be getting towards the end of the process and be able to show this exhibit off.
Exactly. It's a long time coming. we started this over a year ago. And so to get to this point is just amazing. This morning and yesterday we were just all hands on deck painting the gallery. So I probably still have paint speckles in my hair. But to see it finally get to this point, in the next month is when we will start putting in the new flooring and the new lighting, and then the casework will start going in, and then the important stuff of placing those hundreds upon hundreds of artifacts that will make up this exhibit. Now, during the summer months, the proper of the exhibit will continue to be cordoned off as we start finishing some of the fine tunings. There's a lot of media components that go along with this new exhibit, so a lot of hands-on interactive things, and all of that needs to be wired and programmed. But you'll be able to peek through glass and get a little peek at what's going on. But the public grand opening for the People of the Waters is September 5th. We'll start with a ribbon cutting at 10 a.m. and then there'll be regular gallery walks, or kind of giving you a little hands-on of what's going on in there. And then starting September 9th, so that's a Saturday, all the way through October 21st. Every Saturday we have a program going on. So there's a talk about fur trade, archaeology, Paleo Indians. There's going to be a fun children's canoe workshop, and just a lot of really, really neat programs going on every Saturday. So again, check out the website, the whole list. I can't keep it in my own head what date is what, but
I know. I looked at the list, and it's like every single thing, it sounds so interesting, and it's really a great opportunity here in Oshkosh. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's close to once in a lifetime that you're going to be able to talk to these people and get a first-hand look and experience with these programs. So definitely take advantage of them. Yes. And the new exhibit, of course, has a lot of things. I know we've talked about it, but some of the highlights that you're most looking forward to, Carla.
For the People of the Waters, some really cool things. When you first walk in, there'll be this really neat interactive table that will show how the huge sheets of ice, so the glaciers, kind of came and went over the thousands upon thousands of years, and ended up transforming the landscape that we now see. So that'll be a really neat thing. There's going to be a 40-foot long glass artifact case that will start from prehistoric, the Paleo Indians, and run all the way up to the fur trade. And then that goes into a travel and trade area that it's going to have a trading game, so a video game where you put yourself into the game. You can decide if you're a Native American or a European trader, and it'll all be based on your choices, whether you fail or succeed as being a trader. And then the igloo, not igloo, long, it looks like an igloo, yeah, just without ice. But, it's a longhouse, Oneota longhouse. So you'll get a really good hands-on feel for living in these native villages. So we could go on and on. It just, there are so many other things. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. So we're so excited to come out there. I'm sure Oshkosh Media will be covering the ribbon cutting and getting a tour on video as well. So congratulations in the final phases here. Best of luck with your painting and everything that you've got going on over there too. But again, I'd like to just tell our viewers to definitely check out the website for more information, Facebook page. Always some great updates on there. So Carla, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks. Up next, the Oshkosh Area Humane Society is in, and they are going to give us a little bit of a seasonal update on what they are up to. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9 WOCT, online at oshkoshmedia.org, YouTube, and Facebook.
Our climate is changing. Making a few changes around the office can cut carbon emissions. Shut off your computer, monitor, and other electronics when you're not using them. Turn off the lights in rooms you're not using. Recycle paper and plastic. Print on both sides of the paper. And buy office products that use recycled content. Reduce your carbon impact to the environment. Act now on climate change.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we have our friends from the Oshkosh Area Humane Society who are going to tell us all about what they've been up to this season. So I'd like to introduce Cheryl Rosenthal from the Humane Society. Welcome, Cheryl. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me again.
And as always, we have a lot to talk about.
Oh, there's always stuff going on at the Humane Society. Never a dull moment.
Yes, so. And right now the main thing, kittens.
Kittens.
Kitten season.
You know, when you're in the sheltering business, you hear the term kitten season, and a lot of people go, well, what does that mean? Well, if you think about it, we just celebrated Easter, and when I think of Easter, I think of lambs and baby chicks and baby ducks all being born, and that's the way Mother Nature planned it, so that animals are born in the spring of the year when temperatures are rising and they're going to be warm. And the same happens with dogs, cats, rabbits, all those animals that we keep as pets. And unfortunately, cats have a tendency to breed as well as rabbits do. And so when we talk about kitten season, we're talking about 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 litters of kittens can be born to one cat in a season. Wow. And so this is when we see a great influx of kittens. In fact, right now, Emily, we have just 40 kittens so far already in our foster homes right now.
And it's still early on,
and it's early. It's not even, it's not even quite mid-May. So foster homes are very important to us, and the reason for that is kittens and a nursing mom really do not do well in a shelter environment. Kittens, of course, are more susceptible to illness and sickness. The stress on the mother cat can, probably affect her immune system and her milk production. And also, we want to make sure that when these kittens are ready to go to good homes, that they're well socialized. And this is what foster homes can help do. They can invite the neighbor kids in to come and play with them and see them, introduce them maybe to the family dog, and do different things. And so foster homes really help us so that we can save many of these kittens that are born throughout the season. I know that one year we had as many as between 500 and 600 kittens in a season, and so that's a lot of cats and kittens too.
And a lot of foster homes.
Yeah, a lot of foster homes. And so we provide everything for the foster homes. If you're interested in being a foster home, one of the requirements is to have a single room where you can house the animals that you're caring for. That way it reduces the stress on any pets that you may have in the home and reduces the stress on the shelter pet. We try to tailor our foster homes to the animals that you're fostering. Maybe you're not ready to take on a mom and kittens. Maybe you would just like 1 or 2 kittens that maybe need a few weeks to become healthy again. If they were found outside, they may have upper respiratory, those types of things. So we really try to match the foster home with the animals, so that if you're not used to giving medications, we're not going to give you a foster animal that maybe they just need socializing. And so, and we provide everything. We provide the food, the water, dishes, litter, medical care. We provide all those essentials. All the foster home does is provides the tender, loving care and make sure that they bring them in so that they can have their update vaccinations and that type of thing. So if someone wants to learn more about foster care, they should contact Rachel, who is our volunteer coordinator, and she's also taking care of kitten foster care this year. So,
excellent.
She'll be the person.
Find their information on
our website, or it's Rachel at ohs.org regarding foster care. So also just a reminder, when those kittens do come back to be adopted, the Oshkosh Area Humane Society, we're kind of unique. We don't have any adoption fees for cats or kittens. There is a rabies vaccination reimbursement, which is $17, and then the licensing fee if you live in the city of Oshkosh of $5. So a cat or a kitten may end up costing you like $22. And the kittens are all spayed or neutered before they leave our facility. So it's a great deal.
Yes.
It really is a great bargain.
And so as we're talking about what they call kitten season, it's of course important to put out the reminder, spay and neuter.
Spay and neuter, exactly. Spay and neuter. You know, spaying and neutering is so important. I look at it as an investment in my pet. You know, some people think, oh, I don't want to put my animal through a surgery. You know, that sounds kind of scary, put them under anesthesia. When really you're making an investment in their future health, because spaying and neutering can eliminate the possibility of your animal getting certain kinds of cancer. They can live a longer, healthier life by having this surgery done. They're more likely to get along better with other animals, and most importantly, they're less likely to want to go out finding a mate.
Exactly.
And so they're going to be a much better pet. So it really is an investment in your pet.
Incredibly important, and the Humane Society does a great job of getting that education out there, so definitely keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Again, foster homes, very important. One other thing that we wanted to touch on in this segment is that people might have noticed that the Humane Society has kind of started using a little bit of a new tagline.
Yes.
So
Oshkosh Area Humane Society, different on purpose.
Different on purpose.
Different on purpose.
What's the meaning behind that?
The meaning behind that is, Emily, first of all, I think it's important for people to understand that every humane society / animal shelter is different. We all operate a little bit differently, and we have kind of chosen to be a little different on purpose. And what we mean by that is our focus is still on the animals. And we feel that every single animal is important and deserves a chance at finding a loving home. And so when people come to adopt from us, we're very much into matchmaking. It's very important to us yes, it's important that we get an animal adopted, but we're not looking at, well, they've been here 5 days or they've been here 7 days, we got to get them out the door. We look at, when's that right family going to show up, and is this a good match? And it's not just a match for the animal, but also the perfect match for the person who's looking for that pet and for the animals at home. So sometimes we may have animals that stay at our facility a little bit longer. Maybe they have some health concerns that need to be addressed, and they're with us longer, and it costs a little bit more money to do that, but we're okay with that. And so that's what being different on purpose is.
Different in a good way.
Yeah. And we're not like everybody else, and that's okay too. And we also want to make sure that when an adopter does take an animal home, that they have the tools. So we'll spend a lot of time in our adoption sessions talking about, what are you going to do with that kitten when you take it home? What are you going to do with that dog when you take them home? What are you going to do when you're gone at work? What about vacations? All those things that we want to make sure that people are leaving with the tools so that they are successful. It's kind of setting up everybody for success, because we want this to be the last time we see that animal at the Humane Society. That they really are going to be going to their forever home.
Making sure that everyone has a full understanding of what this means. Very great.
Exactly.
And of course, you'll be putting out more information about that new tagline and about what all that means.
Yes. If people would like to read the letter that our executive director wrote, visit our website and click on the tab that says About Us, and that should pop up. It's a letter that Joni wrote regarding why we're different on purpose. And if you'd like to learn more about us, stop in and see us too. I think that's the best way.
Stop in.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, I'm finding that there's still a lot of people in our community that have never seen our Humane Society. And when I say our Humane Society, I mean the county's Humane Society. Our community's Humane Society. It doesn't belong to Joni or me or Pat or Kara or Ann, all the people that work there. The Oshkosh Area Humane Society belongs to the community that it serves, and we can only do the work that our community allows us to do. And we're pretty
so
proud.
Thankful for that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We're very proud of the work that we do, but we can't do it without the support of our community. And if you're not sure, well, why should I support the Humane Society? Come and ask me for a tour. I'll be happy to show you around.
Yes, you give great tours. I can tell you that.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. It's a great place to be, a great place to visit, to gain a better understanding of what you do. And Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I encourage people to visit the Oshkosh Area Humane Society's website. There's a lot of great information, Facebook page. You can see pets that are available for adoption and everything on both of those sites. So Cheryl, thanks again for joining us, and we can't wait to have you back again.
Oh, thank you very much.
So now we're going to take a few moments to focus on health with our friends at Aurora Medical Center. This segment is focusing on the brand new sleep lab. Let's take a look.
This Focus on Health segment is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Ted Stefaniak. Today we're at the Aurora Medical Center in Oshkosh, and I'm standing in a completely dark room. I can't see a thing. Now you're seeing me on a black and white monitor. It's part of the brand new Aurora Sleep Medicine Center, and this is a brand new facility. So we're going to be sitting down with Jessica Prill today to talk about this brand new facility. So my eyes are adjusting to the light once again after being in that dark room. I'm with Jessica. We're in the control room here of the sleep lab. And Jessica, before we get too far into this, what is your registry?
I'm a registered polysomnographic technologist.
That is a fancy word.
It is.
But you're helping people with the problems that they have with their sleep.
Right. Yep. So we're looking for sleep apnea, REM behavior disorder, narcolepsy, things like that people are suffering from and they're not sure.
Okay, and Aurora has had a sleep lab in the past, but the old one was off-site, wasn't it?
It was. We started here as a 2-lab sleep lab, and then we moved to Doctor's Court as we expanded to a 4-bed.
Okay, and now the Doctor's Court facility, there's no longer a sleep lab there. Everything here is in-house at Aurora and Oshkosh.
Yes.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the need and some of the updates you have now for this sleep study lab.
So at the new lab, we've taken a lot of time and consideration in just talking with our patients in the past, and some of the issues were the noise and just comfort in general. So we've made our rooms nice and comfortable for patients. Nobody likes to know that they're watched while they're sleeping. So we make our rooms like they're a hotel room. One of our rooms has a lift that can lift up to 1,000 pounds. So for our bariatric patients or anybody that has issues getting in and out of bed, we're able to use that as well now too.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at the bedrooms in just a moment here. Do people use that during the day, or is that strictly a nighttime study?
We use it at night. We do have studies during the day. We run your typical shift workers still need to sleep, and they still suffer from certain sleep disorders. So we run those, as well as certain tests to test for narcolepsy.
Okay, and we're in the control room right now, so tell us a little bit about some of the equipment, this is new equipment that you're using here in this sleep study lab.
It is. The control room is the heart of it all, because this is where we sit and we monitor the patients as they go, and this is how we watch and determine if they are having things going on while they're sleeping. And then once we do put treatment on them, this is where we watch it and kind of tweak everything to make sure that everything's going good.
So you're watching people sleep pretty much.
We are watching you sleep.
and tell me, now there's a staff of 3 people in the sleep study lab?
We do. We have a staff of 3. It's myself and my 2 co-partners back behind me here. And then we do have a PRN on staff as well.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the bedrooms, and we'll kind of describe some of the things, some of the new things they have here at Aurora. All right, Jessica, so we're in one of the bedrooms here in the sleep lab, and kind of take us through this. As I come in here and take a look, it looks like a hotel room to me, or just a normal bedroom.
Oh, that's good, because that's what we were aiming for. You're actually in our ocean view room, which has the built-in lift here, which is new to the hospital and a lot of the inpatient hospital rooms as well, so we can use this too if we needed to.
Now, you have 4 bedrooms, but that's the only one with the lift? Why do you need the lift?
Well, we have bariatric patients, but we just have patients in general that are ill and just cannot get in and out of bed as easily as some other patients, so this way this can help us.
Okay, so outside of this looking like a normal hotel room or bedroom, what are some of the other features for the sleep lab?
Well, the beds are sleep number beds, so that seems to be a favorite. For the sleep lab in general, you'll notice the little speaker above here, so that's how we can hear the patients throughout the night. We ask that they just talk to us through just the room, and then we can come in here and answer any questions that they need.
Okay, and I noticed there's what looks to be a camera?
Yep, there is the camera, and then the little black box behind it is the infrared light, so that we can see, obviously, the patient in the dark.
Okay, and then it's a TV, it's a closet. The bathroom is hotel quality as well.
Yeah, it's a spacious bathroom with your own shower inside there. So
the idea is to keep the patient, the subject, as comfortable as possible so they can get a good night's sleep?
Yep, and we want to make sure that they feel that they have their privacy too. It's already something to feel that you're being intruded on while we're watching you sleep, so we wanted to make it a little bit more private. You don't have to go out of your room to use the restroom. It's right here in your room itself. So
now obviously this is a sleep study, so there are some wires and things that the patient then is hooked up to as well?
There are right here. You'll notice that that's our CPAP machine, and that goes with our sleep system itself, so that will help us monitor you over in the control room.
Okay, so it's really just trying to make this as comfortable as possible, trying to make it as normal for somebody to sleep so that you can get a proper reading on what's going on with the patient.
Yep, we try to do as much as we can to make you forget about the wires.
All right, well this is an incredible facility, and I know you guys are going to be helping a lot of people with this. Thanks for taking some time with us today.
You bet, thank you.
If you're having any problems sleeping, you should check with your primary care provider first, but if you have any other questions, give us a call at 303-8700. I'm Ted Stefaniak, and we'll see you next time on Focus on Health.
This Focus on Health segment has been brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
All right, thank you, Ted. Thank you to our friends at Aurora. It looks like that's going to do it for this episode of Oshkosh Today. So as always, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you tune into Life TV for all of your community programming. You can search for Oshkosh Media on Facebook or YouTube for exciting news and updates, as well as videos of your favorite programs. And don't forget to follow @City of Oshkosh on Twitter to receive down-to-the-minute updates about what's going on in your city. You can also listen to Oshkosh Today and other programs on the radio at 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also streaming online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. For more information about Oshkosh Media, programming schedules, and video on demand, you can visit our website at oshkoshmedia.org. And of course, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at espringstro@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. So as always, thank you so much for joining us on Oshkosh Today, and we'll see you next time.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM. And Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. Oshkosh Today.